Constitutionalism is a core principle in modern politics, providing a legal framework that guards and limits government power. It ensures that all government actions follow the law and protect individual rights and freedoms. In democratic countries, constitutionalism defines how institutions work, promotes fairness, and prevents abuse of power. In some nations, such as South Africa and Germany, strong constitutions have helped protect human rights and maintain democracy. However, having a constitution does not always prevent abuse. In countries like Hungary, leaders have altered laws to exert greater control while maintaining a lawful appearance, raising doubts about whether constitutionalism alone can safeguard democracy. This assignment will look at how constitutionalism can protect democracy and human rights, but also how it can be misused. It will also discuss today's challenges, such as populism, authoritarianism, and digital control that can weaken this protection.
Now I'm going to talk about understanding constitutionalism. Constitutionalism is a fundamental principle in political science and law which asserts that the authority of the government derives from and is restricted by a written constitution, thereby ensuring the rule of law, safeguarding the rights and liberties of the people, preventing the abuse of power, and promoting a system of check and balance through the separation of powers among the legislative, executive, and judicial branch. Now let's move on into the constitutionalism as a safeguard for democracy and human rights. And first is constitutionalism protect democracy. Constitutionalism ensures that government power is limited and guided by a constitution. In a democracy, power belongs to the people who elect leaders to represent them. But without clear rules, leaders might abuse power or violate rights. Constitutionalism prevents this by making sure all actions follow the Constitution. It sets the rules for government, structure, and responsibility and requires all officials to act within the law, protecting democracy from arbitrary rule. Another one is safeguarding human rights and separation of power. The Constitution also guarantees basic freedoms such as free speech, religions, and free trial. It stops anyone, even powerful leader, from going beyond the law. Constitutionalism supports the separation of power, dividing government into executive, legislative, and judicial branch. This system allows each branch to check the others, preventing abuse of power. For example, court can block law, then violate human rights. This structure protects both democracy and individual rights.
Now I'm going to talk about human rights gradation persists in democracies with strong constitution. Review of relevant literature. Abuse of constitutional mechanism, institutional weakness and centralization, ongoing threat and accountability gaps, analysis, structural and institutional weaknesses, exclusive of minorities and bias, disconnect between law and reality, application and recommendations, enforcement and vigilance matter, transparency and inclusive constitutional change, align with international standards and scrutiny. Recent Case Study 1: Constitutional Court and the COVID-19 pandemic in Central Europe. Balancing fundamental rights and public health measures, vigorous scrutiny of restriction, preventing government overreach, upholding democratic foundation, protection of minority and vulnerable groups, targeted evaluation of impact, upholding equality principle, building trust through equity. Case Study 2: Balancing property and housing rights in South Africa, constitutional mandate for social justice. Port Elizabeth Municipality Fifth Various Occupier. Content-sensitive eviction framework, compassion as legal imperative, transformative constitutional vision. Introduction of mediation and engagement order. Mandatory negotiation before eviction, promoting sustainable conflict resolution. Constitutional fairness in practice.
In conclusion, Constitutionalism plays an important role in supporting democracy and protecting human rights. It is more than just a written document because it requires proper enforcement through strong institutions, independent courts, and active public involvement. Constitutionalism helps prevent the abuse of power and ensures that citizens' freedoms are respected. However, having a strong constitution alone does not guarantee the protection of rights. Case studies from Central Europe during the COVID-19 pandemic, South Africa's housing rights, and India's digital surveillance shows that courts are key in the defending constitutional principles. Yet, political influence, weak institutions, and rising authoritarianism still present major challenges. To face modern threats like digital control and populism, there must be a renewed focus on putting constitutional values into practice. This includes improving public awareness, promoting accountability, and strengthening the use of international human rights standards at the national level. The future of constitutionalism depends on the combined efforts of the judiciary, civil society, political leaders, and the public. Only with their shared commitment can the promises of constitutional rights be fully realized in our daily life.